Hello my loves, I'm Ellie Frost. Thank you so much for being on this channel where we are talking about the multi-dimensional approach to rapidly and radically healing and transforming during and after narcissistic abuse. And this video is about just, how systemic narcissism is right now in our system, because we've got this imbalance in our society, right? And people are saying, like, is it an epidemic? Is it an outbreak of narcissists? But it's much more about, it is completely systemic in our system in the way that the world exists today. We have people in power using fear to manipulate and control people. We have a system that is not really empathizing with the majority, which is the people that it's supposed to serve, right? So we have experiences of narcissistic people in authority, right? And the reason I believe, right, which is just my opinion, that it's not treated as seriously as it should be when people are narcissistically abused, because mental illness should be treated as seriously as physical assault on someone, and mental pressure, psychological pressure. But narcissism, like, it seems to be that we're raising this awareness, right? People know about it, people are asking about it. It's getting really systemic in the collective and in our communities, but not much is being done, really. I know that some countries have laws against coercive control, but these things are difficult to prove, right? So why are we not, like, why isn't there zero tolerance to it? This kind of abuse? Well, because it's systemic in our system. Because then if you see it on a micro level, you'll see it on a macro level. I believe we should start having no tolerance for it. That we should start seeing it for what it is and refusing to be controlled and manipulated in coercive ways that are unhealthy for us, right? I think it's a distortion on the planet, like when a computer gets a virus that literally starts corrupting things. And that's what we're living in right now. So we're in the middle of this kind of awakening, I believe, which is because often in an awakening on the planet spiritually, what happens is the problems get chronic, right? Giving us an opportunity to evolve, to awaken, to claim our freedom. The antidote to narcissist abuse is sovereignty. Sovereignty means I'm a sovereign source to self, right? It means I don't give my power away to unhealthy people to try and regulate or source things that I can actually, provide for myself. And that I don't allow my wounds to allow me to get in unhealthy situations. Looking for unhealthy people to parent me or give me a sense of security, survival, safety, and love, basically, right? This is easier said than done. It's a big journey. But I would say that, like, it's got really chronic, but in some ways it's got kind of glamorized. And it's almost like the narrative is trying to make us see it as less serious than it is. And in the last couple of videos I've been talking about gaslighting and are you dealing with a narcissist and trauma bonds and stuff. But I want us to remember this is really serious. This is your life. This is my life, right? How many years have some of us lost through this? And because it's systemic, because it's in our system, because it's in this matrix that we live in, there are people that really don't want us to stand up against it. And I truly believe if you're here as a community, it's not about fighting narcissism. It's about zero tolerance to it, right? Zero tolerance. So we see it for what it is and we don't tolerate it. We don't tolerate it on a micro level, which will then translate to a ripple effect on the macro level. Because there are so many beautiful people I work with, right? And I know from my own self, like, that have been really oppressed in ways that should not be allowed, right? But it is. Why? Because the system is run in part by some of this energy, yeah? And we're being called into a greater existence. We're being called into a unity consciousness. We're being called to actually, literally ramp up the empathy and compassion on the planet, because empathy will definitely change the world, right? And so it is a spiritual war, and it's a difficult awakening because, like, often we're forced into a spiritual awakening after recovering from narcissistic abuse, right? Because you just have to wake up. You have to see it for what it is. You have to see evil as evil. I for many, many years, I wanted to see the good in everything and the good in everyone. But like I say, I channel ancient wisdom. Like, this has been written about in the scriptures. This is real stuff. Yeah, there are people possessed, there are spirits working through people. You'll notice the same patterns of the same spirit running through certain channels, certain vessels, certain people. Yeah. And, an attack on our spirit, an attack on our soul, a psychological, mental, and it does lead to definitely physical and energetic attack, should be taken very, very seriously. It's our well-being, it's our life. Traumatizing people literally keeps them stuck and not evolving, right? And sometimes the media is not that conscious. Sometimes the media is keeping people in that trap. Why? Because people who are not fulfilled, authentic, and able to make their own decisions, who are stuck in trauma, are the easiest to control, right? Because we're afraid, because we're paralyzed, because we're not in touch with ourselves. We disconnect from our authenticity, our inspiration, our truth, our hearts, right? The heart has intelligence, right? I read a Joe Dispenza book, I'm reading a Joe Dispenza book, and he said, like, you know, the brain thinks something, but the heart knows. Inside of us, your heart can still be ignited and actually show you the way. And you know that these relationships are not wholesome. But sometimes we can feel like the world is just set up this way. And, you know, I just have to put up with it. And that is the problem with abuse. I'd rather take this than let it get any worse, right? We think we're just trying to like protect ourselves from anything worse happening. It's better, we feel, on the mind level, to deal with what is in front of me than risk the worst. But we don't spend time thinking about, well, what about the best? What if I could have the best? What if I could set myself free? This is a spiritual awakening that we're in right now. Liberation, freedom, right? Financial freedom, emotional freedom. And that seems like a far off, lofty idea, right? When we're really stuck in a trap, especially if we've been under narcissistic abuse, but it doesn't mean it's not possible. We're being asked to awaken right now. There is a huge paradigm shift in the collective right now, spiritually, and like, it is about freedom. So if you're here on this channel with me, that's the path we're going on. Our sovereignty, our freedom, our liberation, our authenticity, our ability to be ourselves, do what we love, and get paid for it, and get supported in it, and not just live in survival mode and trauma response. Because the reason they trauma bond you is when you're in survival mode, you're so easy to control, and your whole body is just a reaction to what's going on now. It doesn't reset, it doesn't recalibrate, it doesn't reorganize so that you can actually start creating the future that you deserve. Yeah, I just wanted to share this because, like, what we're experiencing on a micro level is reflective of the macro level, and it's about time this world changes. It's about time that we recognize that the human spirit is like a precious thing, and like, we don't allow these assaults on our soul. It's about time we spread the word and we stop like thinking it's crazy or woo-woo to talk about like what a demon is, what the spirit of narcissism is. You can describe it as just abuse, right? To people who are not in that world, like, you can just describe it as it's abusive. But when we stop tolerating abuse, right, we start setting ourselves free. When we start setting better standards for our lives, we start creating better lives, right? We start opening doors to opportunities. Narcissism is a very limited, low frequency. They're not higher beings, no matter what. I know some spiritual teachers apparently say they're higher beings. That's not at all true, right? People that are saying things like that, I believe, are wanting to keep you trapped. And I want to set us all free. And I want to leave that with you, right? I don't believe for 1 second we have to be trapped by them. We're a collective, we're a collective. There's more people on the planet that are being controlled than the people at the top that are trying to control them. So you do not have to do it. Many of my clients break free from unhealthy relationships, unhealthy job situations. You don't have to, by the way. It's not a judgment. You can find your liberation where you need to, at your own pace, on your own journey, whether you're still connected with some narcissist or not. But the point is that you're trying to set yourself free. The point is that you are claiming more freedom and liberation in your life. The point is that you're claiming your authenticity. It takes as long as it takes. The work is the work, right? But when you're on that journey, life starts getting good. The highs get higher and the lows get higher as well. Not so bad, right? We start shifting ourselves into like a better life, and I want that for me and I want that for you. So I hope you like this video. It's a bit esoteric, but I want to talk about all of it here, because narcissism is being glamorized and normalized, right? I believe we should not tolerate it. Lots of love, guys. Please like, subscribe and share, and thank you so much for being here.